and I knew it was not good. Crunch was not good. Crunch was not good.
Crunch with bones.
Yeah, and it was like kind of looked like the wrong way, and I was like, oh, this is not good. A little, well, after a while, but I was in shock, so I called the 911, and I was sitting on the porch, and they were there, and I was kind of holding it. And I said, I think I broke my wrist, and they were like, yeah, you did. It's like, looks like
You are.
Can I order?
We ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
You guys ready to go? All right, awesome. All right, everybody. Welcome to the August 3rd regular Planning Commission hearing. I'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Ariana, report on posting the agenda and roll call, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, July 27, 2023 at 2:24 p.m. Roll call. Commissioner Ellie.
Present.
Commissioner Fugasi. Here. Commissioner Leongard.
here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
Vice Chair Kushner.
Here.
Chair Bondel.
Here. Thank you very much. Any public comments for items not on the agenda today?
There are no speakers.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any questions, comments, concerns for last month's meeting minutes? All right.
I move that they be approved as written.
I will second.
Roll call. Commissioner Ellie.
Yes.
Commissioner Leongard.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Apologies. Commissioner Ramirez.
Yes.
Vice Chair Kushner.
Yes.
Chair Bondel.
Yes.
And my apologies, Commissioner Fugasi.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 6, public hearings.
Hello, good evening, Commissioners, Chair Bondel. My name is Erin Freitas. I am a Planner 2 with the Planning Division. And the item today that is before you is for a request for a tentative map for a 3-lot subdivision at 7040 Church Street in the R2 zoning district. Here's a vicinity map with the location is on the northeast corner of Church and West 10th Street. It is a 0.87 acre lot currently developed with a single-family historic home, water tank, and accessory structures. The site is surrounded by a vacant lot to the north, single and multifamily homes to the east and west, and multifamily homes to the south. Here are some current photos of the existing home, which is designated on the local historic inventory and is eligible for the state and national historic registers. The home was built in 1870 and will remain preserved with this proposed subdivision. There's also a water tank structure built at the same time of the home and will remain. There's also a small greenhouse that was converted to an outhouse that will be demolished due to the location of the new sewer line. So here are the plans for the proposed 3-lot subdivision. Parcel 1 on the end here on the left will be 17,320 square feet and will be including the existing home and water tank, and will keep the existing driveway access off of Church Street. Parcel 2 will be in the middle and 10,278 square feet. Will also have a driveway access off of Church Street. And Parcel 3, the corner lot, around 10,192 square feet, will have driveway access from 10th Street, where a driveway access curb cut already exists. No new construction is proposed at this time. These lots would be zoned R2, so they can individually build either a single-family home or duplex along with accessory dwelling units. I do want to note for the corner lot, with the recent updated housing element, there's an allowance in the future for corner lots in the R2 that are at least 8,000 square feet, which this one would meet, could be allowed to develop up to a fourplex. But that is not in the current zoning ordinance and will be updated by the end of 2024. Overall, the proposal provides 2 new parcels in the existing R2 zoning district. They meet the minimum lot size, which are at least 8,880 square feet, and anticipated density range. The parcels do not create any new nonconformities. The existing historic home and water tank will remain. Public and private easements and utilities are provided, and staff has found the project to be exempt from further environmental review of the California Environmental Quality Act per Section 15315 minor land division, since the subdivision results in 4 lots or fewer, conforms to the general plan and zoning. No variances or exceptions are required, and all necessary services and access to the resulting parcels are available. I want to note that a request was made today from the applicant to modify the language in condition number 28 to add what is shown in red at the end that says, "to the satisfaction of the city engineer." This is because they want to leave it open during the design, at the design phase, if the scope of work requires having to fully grind and repave the width of 10th Street. They want to see if that is something that the city engineer would require at that time, because they may not be, the scope may not be including having to completely cut into the road, so it wants to still be something open to discuss at the design phase. So in conclusion, based on staff's analysis and conditions of approval, we're recommending that the Planning Commission recommend the City Council determine the project qualifies for the state CEQA guidelines Class 15 exemption minor land divisions, and adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council approve the proposed tentative map to divide 7040 Church Street into 3 parcels, including the modification to condition number 28. So that concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available, and the applicant is available for questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
So is the existing home registered with any appropriate historical?
It's only listed on our local historic inventory, but they are eligible to register for the state and national.
Okay, so what, I know in other cities that, I'm just familiar because my daughter was purchasing a home, and the homes that are registered as historical within the city, the city mandates very specific upgrades and modifications that can be made to the home to make sure that they conform to the existing look and feel of the home. Are there any mandates in place if it's not officially registered?
We cannot mandate them to do anything specifically. If they were part of the Mills Act, a Mills Act contract, then we could, and it's something I'm going to mention if the applicant is interested, because they can get property tax reductions. So that's something, but we can't mandate them otherwise to do anything to their property.
So they could take this home and completely demolish it and build?
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking.
So I'll jump in. So it's on the local inventory, but it's eligible for state or federal, but even being eligible for the local inventory, it's subject to CEQA as a historic resource. So you cannot do anything that will be a significant impact to that historic resource without doing full environmental review. And another issue, there's the Mills Act that would give tax incentive and breaks for keeping the facade up to the state landmark and historic standards. And then sometimes if you are in a historic zoned district, there will be limitations on what you can do if you're within a historic district, and that would be through the zoning of a historic district, where you can't change out wood windows for aluminum windows, or you can't do anything because you're now part of that whole district. But no, this house would not be able to be demoed without further CEQA review.
And it would have to maintain the historical look and feel.
Right now, it doesn't have those requirements on it. It's not under a Mills Act, but something that was going to significantly alter the historic significance, like if they were going to remodel, that would still have to go through CEQA and go through the Historic Commission and all of that.
So basically, if we approve the exemption, the CEQA exemption, that pretty much prevents them from being able to make significant changes.
No, tonight you're just doing the parcel map or the tentative map for the three
Okay.
lots. So, and this lot isn't scheduled to be altered or changed, but it will now have three lots. That lot, if it wants to do any further redevelopment, would have to go through CEQA. So the CEQA exemption is just for the parcelization.
Okay.
I have a question. So with that designation, are there setback requirements usually that exist for these historic, if it did have that designation that they would have to have?
No, it's on an inventory, but it would just come under the R, it's R2. R2,
It still
so it
follows.
would just have those.
Normal R2 setbacks.
So nothing special for,
No.
No, and if they were going to do something you could always, there's also the historic building code if they wanted to do some remodels or something like that, which gives them a break on the regular building codes. So that's built into state law as well.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
so I thank you for responding so quickly to my questions today. Specifically, the concern I have two concerns actually. One is where the driveway access is on the 10th Street for two different reasons. One is safety. If this does become a fourplex at some point, you have a lot of people going in and out of there. That particular access route to make a right turn onto Church is heavily used. There's not a whole lot of places traffic can go. Not only that, the adjoining property has what looks like a brick wall or something there that is also helping occlude the vision down the road, possibly. And then lastly, there's a bunch of really beautiful olive trees on this property. And there's one smack dab in the middle of where that one access is, and there's one very close to the other driveway access as well that's even on Church. And certainly have some concern as a tree city for that. But all of those things together, I don't know if there's any mitigation for that or...
Great. So to address the access issue on 10th Street, I was measuring, so that we have a visibility triangle for driveway access, which is 10 feet, and I measured this driveway to the property north of it, and that one it was around 40 feet away from that driveway. So I believe it would clear the visibility there.
If there's like a brick wall, it looks like a trash, like an enclosure for trash or something, there's a multifamily right next door.
We'd have to take a look at how close that wall is, because yes, there isn't supposed to be anything within 10 feet. I think in the condition it says it can't be higher than 2 feet actually. So if that is in the way, we would have to discuss maybe some alteration to that location or the neighbor's wall. But that's something that we can still look at during the improvement plan phase. The other thing is if we moved the only alternative would be moving the driveway more south, and then you're getting closer to the intersection. So that presents a safety issue there.
I think it's altogether a bad idea in that particular spot.
I just think that the engineers looked at this development and they looked at all of those issues and they felt putting it as furthest away from the intersection was the best location.
Great, thanks. Any more questions, commissioners?
Just had a comment. I appreciate the questions that did come up. I did have questions about the olive trees. But I enjoyed the thoroughness of this report, as well as someone who's looking into the history of her own house, learning the history of Gilroy. So this was educational and entertaining. So thank you.
Is that it for questions? All right, I'm going to open it up to public hearing. Are there any speakers?
We have no speakers.
Very good. I'm going to go ahead and close it to public hearing. All right, commissioners. Discussion? Motion? Floor is open.
So, I'm not sure how you would do this, but I think Terrence brings up a great point. Can we approve this and somehow put some type of a condition in it that when the parcel that has the driveway onto 10th Street, that somehow it is, obviously you'll go back and check on the measurements and all that, but I'm more concerned about, getting in and out right near that intersection. Could it be that the parking for that, especially if it becomes a fourplex, is set up so that they don't have to at least back out of the driveway, so that it's like pulling into a parking spot and they can back towards the building and come out, at least so they're facing 10th Street and having better visibility to the flow of traffic before they pull into the street?
Isn't that all part when this parcel comes up for actual development?
Oh, correct.
Yes,
Okay.
because I think right
Perfect.
now we're just dealing with splitting the parcel into three.
Okay,
And they
thank
have to
you.
follow the code anyways, right?
Yeah.
So they have to double check everything.
Yeah.
It's too
Right.
much
So if
forward.
they do if they do propose a fourplex, it would require an architectural and site review permit. So there would be a full staff review, all departments looking at that, and we will definitely make sure that they are not backing into 10th Street.
So I just pulled up. Oh, so can I use? So Commissioner Fugazi made a point, and I couldn't recall seeing this structure that he was speaking of, but I just pulled it up on Google Maps, and now I recognize it, and I see it. There is a structure near the cutout. Of which is definitely, to my eye, does not look like 40 feet anywhere near, but it is set back from the sidewalk, and it does look like it's a structure that maintains the refuse containers.
Okay.
In that situation, where would concerns about that come up? Would it come up in the development of the property, or would that be now?
It will come up. They do have to provide improvement plans with the final map after this process. So Public Works, everyone will be looking at making sure the final design will work as far as that driveway and the corner visibility.
But as a clarification, this is for the map, so the map is the map.
It's a map, right?
And
but
that pretty much is set in stone once we set the map, right? More or less?
the map is set in stone, but I think driveway locations could maneuver.
But the only
a
thing
bit.
you can do with the driveway location is move it closer to the corner, which would create more of a hazard than less.
True. We we can see if there's possibility to work with the adjacent neighbor, or we'll just have to do more measurements to see if that is going to clear the corner visibility triangle.
Trash thing, they can talk with the neighbor and they don't have to, yeah.
Right. We'll just have to check the measurements again to see if that is in the corner visibility triangle, and if we'll have to see if the driveway needs to maneuver slightly. I can't imagine it'll be tens of feet, though. You know, you just need 10 feet of clearance.
Would this be something, Director Goey, would this be something that we would indicate as a amendment here to make sure that that gets addressed, or or would that just fall into line of the normal process of because this is the final map, correct? Or no, this is the tentative map, so it'll still come through as final map through the process. So there's
It will get submitted to Public Works, and then it does need to get approval with the council afterwards before getting recorded.
This tentative map is a recommendation to the council, and then the council will approve it. And then to obtain your final map, the final map has to be in substantial compliance with the tentative. So the improvements or certain things that would be required for the final map would need to be done at the time of the final map, or the developer would enter into what we call a PIA, a property improvement agreement, or an SIA, a subdivision improvement agreement, and then that's the contract that says you can get your final map, but this is a contract that will make you put in the sidewalks and do certain other off-site improvements. So the driveway in that line of sight, that will all be taken care of when that one parcel gets developed.
Right.
Could you, just for my understanding, what was that corner of visibility could you describe that again for me, please?
It's a visibility.
Yeah, it's just called a triangle of visibility. It's required at driveways and at the corner intersection as well. It's actually in one of the conditions of approval that there does need to be clearance, actually. So I think that could also cover that concern. But it is a condition in there that says next to the driveway, there needs to be 10 feet of clearance, nothing greater than 2 feet high in that area.
Okay, so I'm just repeating this for my understanding.
Yeah.
So from the edge of the driveway, 10 feet.
Correct.
Where was I hearing 40 feet?
Oh, that's also that's for the corner. So the actual corner intersection area is 45 feet. Yeah.
So that's condition 22. PDF page 42 of 62, if you want to read it.
And then there's also condition 26 about encroachment permits, and then street trees, street markings, sidewalks, curb ramps, curb and gutter, driveway approaches. All of that needs to be installed per city standard residential driveway or per city's requirements. So that will all be looked at.
Any more questions?
Do we have to make the amendment for the changes that the applicant wanted for those items in red? Oh, there we go. Thank you.
I just included, if you wanted to adopt the resolution, that maybe at the end you could say including the modification to condition number 28.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's to the satisfaction of the, okay.
Correct, yeah. Just that added language.
I remember.
Right, it's just some small language in there.
All right. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we recommend to the City Council determine the project qualifies for the State CEQA Guidelines Class 15 exemption, minor land divisions, and adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council approve the proposed tentative map to divide 7040 Church Street into 3 parcels, including the modification to condition number 28.
I second.
Roll call. Any discussion? No? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Elling,
Yes.
Commissioner Fugazi,
Yes.
Commissioner Leongard,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kushner,
Yes.
Chair Bondel.
Yes. That passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Item 7, new business. There are no items. Item 8, informational items. Planning Division staff approvals, which I don't think they're ready. Nice and easy. All right, number 9, Planning Division report.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Planning Commissioners. This is the same reminder as last time for the AB 1234 ethics training. Majority of you have completed, and the night of the last meeting on July 20th, I did send an email out to a few commissioners who still have to complete it. Just another reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, Assistant City Attorney report.
Just letting you know that the city attorney, Andy Faber, will be doing another training session at council, and this one is going to be on conflicts of interest and it's conflicts like FPPC conflicts, common law conflicts, and going over some of the council rules, their norms, and all of that. So if you're interested, it's next Monday. It's on the agenda for council. The council has designated not only, we're trying to do training for Planning Commission, they're doing training for themselves. And their training is a little bit different than your training. But this one will be about FPPC rules and regulations. I think he's going to bring up maybe one of the changes to the campaign laws, which don't affect, well, they would affect you, I guess, if you did run. But so anyway, if you want to tune in or attend, and they're usually not more than an hour, so, but that's the next one coming up. So, and then for Planning Commission training, we're already working on the follow-up to last time's training, which is the new housing laws, which will thoroughly confuse everybody, but I'm sorry, don't shoot me.
Are we going to split that training in 2 trainings?
The new housing laws?
Yeah, because I can guess that's going to take some time. I'm just...
Well, I think we're going to start with the real high level of it and then see if we need to go into more detail. Okay. We're going to start with, Housing Accountability Act, ADU law, and SB 9, and and at least give you the overview of those. And then if we need to come back and do more specific training on some of them, we can do that as a follow-up. So, but we're already working on it, so.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to adjourn it to the next meeting of September 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Thank you.
That's going to be a record. At the time we stayed here for 3 hours. But Joanne said back in the day...